For the past few years, the city has been holding meetings in all the communities that will be affected by transit-oriented development, also known as TOD. They all share one thing in common. They'll eventually be connected by Oahu's first rail transit system. Construction has already begun on the 20-mile-long rail line, which will feature 21 stations. The route will begin in East Kapolei, run through Pearl City with stops at Honolulu International Airport and downtown Honolulu, then end at Ala Moana Shopping Center. The Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation, also known as HART, recently held a community meeting to discuss the latest designs for the rail stations in the Pearl City and Aiea region.
Pearl Ridge won't be left out because the next train will take care of that.
Officials encouraged members of the community to provide feedback on ways to improve the project.
To me, it doesn't matter if the half hour of running errands is between buses.
I think it's really exciting that we are at this point tonight where we have, after a year of delay, we actually started construction again and we're moving forward. We really want to ask you tonight to help us with the design of the stations. This is really important. This is our community, and we want to be sure that we partner with all of you to help us to make this the best station designs that we can possibly make for our community.
This is your project. You're the people who are paying for it. And so we want to get your best thinking, your best ideas in how we make this project better, how we make these stations in your community reflective of your spirit, reflective of your soul, and reflective of your interests.
Community members also got a glimpse of what the 3 rail stations will look like at Pearl Highlands, Pearl Ridge, and Aloha Stadium. Hart says the first 10 miles of the project will end at Aloha Stadium and expects it will be completed in 2017. The whole rail line is expected to be operating with passengers on board by 2019. Commuters will also have easy access to both the bus and rail.
We are working very closely with the folks at the Department of Transportation Services and OTS that operate the bus so that we will have one card to get on board both bus and rail. We'll have one single website, one phone number.
HART's executive director, Dan Grabaskis, says the trains will run from 4 a.m. to midnight. Passengers will have access to the internet and a few other things.
On board the train, we'll have free Wi-Fi so you can get work done or check your emails. And we'll have access for you to bring on board bicycles, luggage, because we will have a stop at the airport, directly at the airport. And because we're Honolulu, we'll have something probably no other system in the world does. We'll have racks for, yes, surfboards, because that's what we do.
Plans are also underway to build parking facilities at 4 locations for rail commuters. In the long run, officials say rail transit will provide a safe and reliable alternative to driving in traffic congestion.
I'm so excited about our rail project. One, it is about moving people quickly and fast in our squished urban corridor so we can preserve our outlying ag lands for just agriculture, just keeping them plain open and green, like in the old days. But the other more exciting part is what happens around our transit stations.
Mayor Kirk Caldwell says the stations will not only serve as rail stops, but they'll also create new community centers. And he points out that Honolulu will lead the way by operating the nation's first driverless rail transit trains.
First metro rail system in the United States of America that's not going to have a driver in each car. It's going to be run by computer. We're first. The 50th state is leading the nation in technology and operation and maintenance cost effectiveness, because we're not going to have as many people employed, which means it's going to be less expensive to run.
Art will also be a vital part of the transit program. Each rail station will be designed to reflect Hawaii's rich cultural diversity and heritage and a sense of place.
HART really looks at this as an educational opportunity. And so for Pearl Ridge, Pu'aloa was a rich area in the ocean and on land, and the fish ponds. And so when the fish come up to the surface of the fish pond, you have these concentric circles. So you can see this is one of the concentric circles and into the station. It really celebrates what comes out of each ahupua'a. A lot of research was done for this. We're going to have QR codes on the metal signs so that you can use your iPhone or your iPad, and it will take you back to the Heart website where you're going to get a lot more in-depth history and culture.
Members of the community gathered at the Neil Blaisdell Center for a public symposium on making transit-oriented development happen.
And making business districts a place to be, not just a place to move through.
Residents and community leaders came together to share ideas on how to better plan neighborhoods enhanced by rail transit, bus stops, bike paths, and safe sidewalks. The mayor spoke about the importance of creating vibrant neighborhoods that people want to visit and live in.
What we're doing in this urban core, what you guys are participating in today, is going to help make sure that this dream becomes reality. That the very best of this place continues to be really good and nurtured and taken care of. For me, it brings up the term vahipana. You've heard this word before. To the Hawaiian, sacred place, a special place. A place that you nurture, you malama, you take care of, because you need to pass it on to that next generation. This is our vahipana. This is our responsibility. You know that because you're here. So I want to tell you I love you folks for being here today and for showing that care.
Local and national experts spoke on the value of transit-oriented development.
Community benefits like affordable housing or parks or new streetscapes, reduced parking requirements, usable parks and open space, and even required bicycle parking. That tends to be in all the plans.
The participants also heard about some of the initial plans for development along the rail line.
What we call greenfield development, there's mostly farmland out there. You see 3 stations. The whole Pili station area is a local mixed-use village that will largely be built by a developer as the market demand comes. Some images of what that might look like. There's lots of green space drawn into these plans. You can't have density without a place to gather. UH West Oahu station area is really seen as sort of a campus gateway, a Main Street area. And East Kapolei is more of a community use station. Going into Waipahu and West Lock, these are existing communities. They've been around for a while. And so it's a very different character of plan from what you'll see on the ones towards East Kapolei. Some of the recommendations are revitalizing the Old Town area of Waipahu Depot Road. Folks wanted to see a much more walkable-oriented development.
Throughout the event, people were invited to help generate ideas about the designs for transit-oriented development in their neighborhood and projects to help transform public spaces. Once it's all completed, the rail transit project is expected to cost $5.2 billion. It will be the largest public works project in Honolulu's history. On February 18, 2014, the last legal hurdle was removed when both the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and District Court Judge Wallace Tashima dismissed all remaining lawsuits by rail opponents.
The courts, in essence, basically said that we followed the law, we were thorough, we were complete, and that we met every measure and indicator that the law required in our analysis of the project.
The construction of Oahu's rail mass transit system is now full speed ahead. Hundreds of local workers are busy putting the system together in its first segment in West Oahu. If you'd like to learn more about the Honolulu Rail Transit Project, you can visit its website at honolulutransit.org.